everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn Commerce with Namita. I am Namita Mane. In today's session, let us try to understand the legality of object and consideration under contract. So let's start. So what is legality of object and consideration? For a contract to be a valid contract, the two things are absolutely essential, for that is a lawful object and lawful consideration. To any contract if you want to make it a valid contract, two important things or two important elements are very much important, that is the lawful object and the lawful consideration. Now what is lawful object, okay, or object means the purpose or design of the contract, means what is the purpose that you are coming into a contract. Okay, so the purpose should be a lawful purpose. Okay, what is the objective to enter into a contract, or what is the purpose to make a contract with another party. Now as you know that consideration means something in return, something in given. Okay, that means consideration means the price of the promise. Okay, so if you are entering into a contract, so you have to give something to the front party, and in return the front party have to return you something. Okay, so that is consideration. So object should be a purposeful, okay, the object should be the lawful, and consideration should be also lawful. Now for a valid contract, consideration and object should be lawful. Now what do you mean by lawful? Lawful means which is allowed by law. Okay, the word lawful means allowed by law, which is allowed by law and which is legally, that is lawful object or lawful consideration. Now if the purpose, okay, if the purpose of an agreement, okay, if the purpose of an agreement is unlawful, the contract will be void. Okay, void means it cannot be considered as a legal contract. So if you want to enter into a contract, your object, your purpose and the consideration should be lawful, then only it can be called as a valid contract. Next, now for example, okay, to understand legality of object and consideration, take one example, that agreement between two or more person. Okay, so there is an agreement between two or more person for gambling. Okay, the purpose to enter into a contract or the agreement is what? Gambling, theft or fraud. Okay, some third person, etc. All these are unlawful, okay, on the ground of illegality of object and consideration. If your purpose to enter into a contract is smuggling or gambling, then thief, or to do fraud something, then it is as per the law, these all things are unlawful, and if you do such things, it will be, you will be under jail, or it is like punishable activities. So whatever contract or agreement you enter into it, so the agreement object as well as the consideration should be purposeful, and it should be under law. Next, now what objects, okay, means what purpose and consideration are unlawful. Now as per section 23 of the Indian Contract Act, an agreement consisting of the unlawful object, okay, and consideration is void, and the object and consideration of an agreement is unlawful in the following circumstance. There are some circumstances or some situation. If these situations are there, then that agreement will be unlawful. So situation or circumstances are what? Specifically forbidden by law. Okay, then of such a nature that they would defend the purpose of law. Then next is what? Fraud, involve injury to any other person or property. Second is the court regards them as immoral and are opposed to the public policy. If this circumstances are involved in any in any contract or agreement, then this or purpose or consideration will be treated as unlawful. Okay, and if these are not involved, if these things are not involved in any agreement or in any purpose or consideration, then they can be considered as a valid contract. And if these are involved in agreement, the purpose and the consideration, then these are no, this will be called as unlawful agreement. Okay, so now we'll see one by one. Now, forbidden by law. Now what does it means? Okay, when the object, okay, means when the purpose of the contract or the consideration of the contract is prohibited by law, then they are not lawful consideration or object anymore. If there are some purpose or consideration which is restricted by law only, then they cannot be called as a lawful object or consideration. They become, naturally they become what? Unlawful. Okay, and such a contract cannot be a valid anymore. Now, unlawful consideration of object includes acts that are specifically punishable by law. Okay, the act the unlawful consideration or object that includes the act specifically punishable by law. Now, for example, if A gives money to B to kill C, then this is what, if B kills C, then it is what? Killing is what? Killing someone or murdering someone is what? Punishable by law. It restricts to kill someone, or to kill someone it is prohibited by law. You cannot kill any person, and if you kill, you will be you will get some punishment. Okay, and if the agreement is made for criminal like smuggling, murdering, okay, like if an agreement is made for criminal and immoral acts like murdering, okay, like killing, smuggling, okay, smuggling drugs, gambling, etc., becomes an unlawful object and consideration. So these activities like murdering, smuggling, gambling, these are all forbidden by law. If you are involved in murdering, smuggling, etc., you will be punishable by law. Okay, so these are the purpose to enter into a contract of smuggling is unlawful, because if you enter into the smuggling or contract, you will be, again, you are doing unlawful. Okay, as well as you will be punished by law. Next is what? Consideration or object defends the provision of law. Now this means if the contract is trying to defend the intention of the law. Okay, if you are entering into a contract and you know that this smuggling, etc., or gambling, murdering are prohibited by law, but the intention, okay, you are defending the intention of law, then this cannot be a lawful consideration or lawful object. It will be unlawful. So this means if the contract is trying to defend the intention of law or provision of law, then if the court finds the real intention of the party to the agreement is to defend the provision of the law, it will put aside the said contract. Okay, this means if the if court finds that the real intention of the parties to the agreement is to defend the provisions of law, then the contract becomes an unlawful contract. Next is fraudulent consideration or object. Now fraudulent means fraud. Lawful consideration or object cannot be fraudulent. You cannot do any fraud object or consideration. So agreement entered into containing unlawful fraud consideration or object are void by nature. Now for example, A decides to sell goods to B, okay, and B will smuggle them outside the country. So this is what? A fraud transaction and it will be a void contract. Okay, so smuggling is what? B is selling goods to A is selling goods to B, and B will smuggle the goods outside the country. So what you are doing? You are doing fraud. Okay, so this is unlawful consideration as well as the object also. Means the purpose of entering A as well as B in the contract is smuggle. Okay, so this is not a this is what a unlawful contract. Next, if it involves, okay, injury to any person, any other person or property. Now, if the contract, okay, if the purpose or the consideration involves the injury to any person or property, then it is what? Unlawful consideration and object. Now, in legal terms, okay, an injury means to a criminal and harmful wrong done to another person. Now in legal terms, injury means what? It is a crime, as well as harmful, you are harming some other person, wrong done to another person. Now so if the object or consideration of the contract does harm to another person or property, this will amount to unlawful consideration. Now for example, an agreement to kill somebody, okay, you are killing someone, you are harming someone, okay, for 1 lakh rupees is a void, being unlawful, because the object to enter into a contract to kill is what? A criminal. Okay, that means a crime. You are killing someone, that means you are doing some crime. Clear? So this cannot be the lawful object or consideration. It will be obviously it will be unlawful consideration and object. Next, when the object and consideration is immoral. Now if the object and considerations are regarded by the court as immoral, then such object and consideration is immoral. That means if you are hurting someone, if the sentiments, if you are hurting and it is not moral, then it will be considered as immoral. So this contract or object cannot be a lawful object. Next, if it opposes to public policy. Public policy means an agreement is said to oppose to public policy when it is against the public, okay, good or interest, or when it is harmful to the public welfare, means the society. If the agreement is harmful to the public, general public, to the society, which is not made for the benefit, or which the agreement is not made in the good faith of public, then it is called as unlawful object, okay, or consideration. So I hope you have understood all the what do you mean by legality of object and consideration under Indian Contract Act. It is very important that the object or the purpose when you are entering into a contract should be purposeful, should be a lawful, and consideration should be also lawful, and the circumstances which under the which circumstances will be called as an unlawful consideration and objective. I hope you have understood the session. Please subscribe my YouTube channel, like and share the video, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the latest notification. So thank you.